The French election is happening in a matter of days. This week, in a large rally, crowds chanted "Résistance" in support of French presidential candidate Jean-Luc Melenchon. Known as a gifted orator, Melenchon is enjoying a surge in support in the days prior to the coming elections at the end of this month. The mainstream media dubs him as a hard left candidate, but the uncertainty surrounding the election have led a lot of analysts to take his candidacy a lot more seriously. Like Marine Le Pen, the 65-year-old political veteran is viewed as an outsider, which many see as key to his recent success. In today's report, we're going to examine some of his controversial policies on the EU, on immigration, and have a brief look at his chances of ascending to the French presidency. On the EU, Melenchon promises to drastically reform the Union, and if these reforms don't happen, he promises that France will then be offered a referendum on whether they want to stay in the EU or not. Melenchon views the EU as currently serving neoliberal economic and social ideals rather than serving the citizens of the bloc. He wants to end austerity programs in the EU, devalue the euro in order to return to dollar parity, and any EU free trade agreements, including leaving the agreement the EU recently made on trade with Canada. Melenchon also wants to implement what he calls European solidarity, which is essentially an EU-wide policy of protectionism. He also wants to end policies that allow free movement of capital and goods between EU members and third parties, which Melenchon describes as having eroded European industries and economies. He has also proposed an alliance of Southern European members in order to exit austerity and start implementing policies which will work towards ecological, social, and economic revival. In short, Melenchon wants a drastic renegotiation of the European Union's goals and relationships, and he's offering the French people a referendum if they are not satisfied with this. In short, like Marine Le Pen, Melenchon is critical of the European Union, and any future that France would have with the Union would be in a union that is extremely different than the one that exists today. On the international stage, Melenchon wants to change France's tone away from the policies held by his predecessors. Critically, he wants to withdraw France from NATO, the IMF, and the World Bank, which he describes much like the EU as global tools for neoliberal policy. He wants France to reassert itself diplomatically on the world stage, and wants to move away from France being diplomatically represented by the EU, which he sees as having eroded France's diplomatic abilities abroad. Much of this echoes the rhetoric we heard in the UK prior to Brexit, about the UK reasserting itself on the world stage. He has also received a lot of criticism on his policies towards Russia. He wants France to rebuild a closer relationship with Russia, which he sees as integrally important to France's interests, both politically and historically. In many ways, Melenchon is echoing what the mainstream media dubbed as populist rhetoric during the UK referendum vote, about a renewed French influence abroad and a renewed pride internationally. In a large rally in Marseille, Melenchon stated his position on immigration, which is starkly opposed to Marine Le Pen's nativism and is quite comfortable with France as an ethnic melting pot. Melenchon argues that France is naturally anchored in the Mediterranean to act as a center for the French-speaking world. Critically, on the migrant crisis, Melenchon wants to scrap the agreement made between the European Union and Turkey, which grants Turks visa-free travel to the EU as long as Turkey abides by certain policies regarding the migrants that mostly enter the European Union through their borders. Melenchon seeks to strengthen the EU's borders, rather than passing on this responsibility to third-party nations like Turkey. He also mocked the concept of an immigrant quota proposed by some of the opposition candidates as futile, and seeks rather to improve conditions for migrants while assuring the European Union play a larger role in preventing illegal immigrants from entering in the first place. A recent poll by Ipsos has seen a surge in Melenchon's supporters in recent days, surging past Fillon and neck with Marine Le Pen and Macron. Melenchon is standing at 20%, with Marine Le Pen and Emmanuel Macron at around 22% respectively, with Fillon trailing at around 19%. The French election is far too close to call, and at this point it seems a gamble whether Macron Le Pen or Melenchon will make it to the second round. The overall issues seem to be clear, with France's place in the European Union on the world stage and immigration are the topics that seem to be concerning most voters. The worryingly stark differences in their policies demonstrates the deep divide forming in France. In any case, the changes will be drastic in all three arenas, whether it's Marine Le Pen or Mélenchon. And the deep divide that is forming in France is based on how to solve these challenges. One thing is certain, the outcome of the French election could send shockwaves throughout Europe and possibly throughout the world. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for the next report. It really helps, it means a lot to me. We have the French election coming up in the next few days. I really want to know what you guys think. Things are getting tight. Who do you think might win? I also wanted to let you guys know that I want to build this channel and grow it into something bigger. And I thought about a way to do that would be if you guys had the option to buy me a beer. So there's a button now included on the channel page. And if you guys want to help me out and help Real Matters grow by buying me a beer, I'll be really appreciated. Thank you guys so much. Peace.